Imagine, just for a second, the sheer weight of an entire country resting squarely on your shoulders. You're about to step onto a plane, leaving your home soil behind to compete on the biggest athletic stage in human history. The roaring crowds, the soaring expectations, that heart-stopping pressure, it doesn't just begin when the referee blows that first whistle. No, the reality is the World Cup begins the exact second these players leave for the tournament. Today, in this explainer, we're diving into some of the most unbelievable, completely crazy send-offs in World Cup history.
So, how do you actually carry a nation's hopes? I mean, this isn't just about packing your bags and catching a regular commercial flight. We're talking about highly orchestrated, incredibly emotional events that basically serve as a physical manifestation of a country's dreams. These departures set the psychological stakes for the entire tournament. And as you'll see, every nation handles this immense pressure in their own, completely unique way.
Take Brazil, for example. Their send-off is deeply spiritual and, honestly, incredibly visual. As the national team's plane prepped to depart, it wasn't just cleared for takeoff. The aircraft was literally baptized by massive water cannons right out there on the tarmac. This wasn't just for a cool photo op. This salute was actually performed to bless the team with a safe and highly successful journey. It's their way of letting the players know the spirit of the entire nation is flying right up there with them.
Section 1. Cultural traditions and team vibes. There's an absolute striking contrast in how teams mentally prepare to leave. On one hand, you've got intense theatricality. Norway decided to tap directly into their ancestral warrior roots, holding a full-blown photo session wearing literal Viking armor. I mean, it's aggressive, it's bold, and it sends a massive message of intimidation. But then, look at the Netherlands. The Dutch squad kept the vibe incredibly chill. No armor, no weapons, just a super relaxed aesthetic with everyone wearing black overshirts and simple white t-shirts. Two completely different psychological approaches. One is ready for war, and the other is just calm, cool, and collected. And with Norway's warrior approach, the intimidation absolutely did not stop at the photos. They posted those images with a chilling 3-word caption. Norway is coming. You can literally feel the sheer confidence radiating off that statement. It perfectly encapsulates how a team can use a departure photo op to build a massive psychological edge before their cleats even touch a football.
Now contrast that absolute Viking intensity with Croatia. The Croatian players took a much more solemn, inward-looking approach. Before their departure, the whole team united to attend a spiritual mass together. It's a quiet, profound moment of reflection and unity. It really grounds the players before they step into that blinding global spotlight.
Section 2. Massive convoys and royal dinners. These send-offs can scale to unbelievable, literal city-stopping proportions. The Turkish team's convoy to the airport was so mind-blowingly massive that it completely covered giant city bridges, with passionate fans relentlessly tailing the buses all the way to the tarmac. And if you think that's wild, consider Senegal. Their players were treated like absolute royalty, with a grand presidential dinner. But the craziest part? This incredibly formal meal was set up right inside a completely empty stadium. Just imagine the surreal echo and the visual impact of eating a presidential meal on the pitch before leaving for the World Cup. It's insane. Section 3. Airborne tributes and custom planes. For some nations, the send-off doesn't just stop at the tarmac. The airplanes themselves actually become flying monuments. Spain and Portugal, they made sure their players traveled in ultimate style by commissioning beautifully custom-designed jets specifically for the squad. It's a massive flex, right? Showing the world exactly who is arriving. But another nation decided to take their airborne tribute to a much, much deeper emotional level. 1978. Argentina didn't just slap a fresh coat of paint on their plane. They actually changed their official flight number to 1978. This directly honors the legendary World Cup that Argentina won back in that year. By literally flying under that specific number, every single player boarding that aircraft is constantly reminded of their nation's historic glory. It's a brilliant psychological tool to instill a champion's mindset before the wheels even leave the ground. And Argentina wasn't done there. In a heavy, really heartfelt tribute that just tugs at the emotional core of the sport, they had the number 10 prominently printed right on the tail fin of the airplane. This was, of course, to honor the absolute legend Lionel Messi, marking his final World Cup run. So you have the weight of past history with Flight 1978, combined with the emotional weight of their current hero's final chapter. Honestly, that is how you turn a massive piece of machinery into an emotional fortress. Section 4. Visa chaos and mariachi welcomes.
Now, not every departure goes according to some majestic, perfectly scripted plan. Sometimes reality hilariously just gets in the way. Take South Africa's incredibly chaotic journey. First, they almost entirely miss their flights because severe visa issues plagued the team right at the final hour. Actually, you can only imagine the sheer panic of an entire national squad stuck at the airport, wondering if a little bit of paperwork is going to completely ruin their World Cup dreams. But they finally sorted the chaos out and landed safely, and the reward for all that stress? Upon landing, instead of a standard, boring greeting, they were bizarrely but joyfully welcomed by local Mexican mariachi bands. It's this incredible, beautiful mix of international stress, culminating in pure cross-cultural musical joy.
So, from planes baptized by water to intense Viking cosplay to presidential dinners in totally empty stadiums to flight numbers changed for history and ending with mariachi bands soothing visa-induced panic, the tournament is clearly well underway before a single ball is ever kicked. Based on everything we've unpacked in this explainer today, which team do you think had the absolute craziest send-off? Really think about how these incredible departure rituals shape the minds of the players carrying the weight of their nations. Until next time, keep exploring the fascinating stories behind the world's biggest events.